All right, so in today's video, this would be the exact roadmap on if I was starting from scratch, from zero with Amazon Online Arbitrage, how I would build to 20K a month. Starting a business on its own is not easy, but it's much easier when you have a proven roadmap to actually follow to get you to where you got to go. And Amazon has changed a lot since I first started selling 2 years ago. So this is all the stuff that I would do today in adaptation to the current market with the ungating restrictions, the stuff that you guys can't sell early on. We're going to navigate through all of that and actually get you to start finding profitable inventory, get you to get approved for auto approved products, and essentially just give you an entire framework that you can follow here. So this is going to be how I would build that 20K a month OA business from scratch, the exact roadmap I would follow. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am looking to sell through my first 200 auto approved units. Okay, the goal here is to sell through your first 200 units in order to start seeing more auto approvals roll in from Amazon. We are not looking for much profit here. Okay, so we might be buying stuff that's close to break even in order to just get some sales velocity through the door. All right, we want to aim to get 200 units bought in your first 1 to 2 weeks and have those same exact units that were bought outbounded to Amazon. And essentially that whole process we want to have, within 2 weeks, we want to have it done. Okay, speed is super important here if I were starting this over. So to do this, we are going to find smaller sellers that have under 3 review count who carry likely auto approved brands in their stores. And we are going to leverage that and just buy what they have that's approved for us around break even or a little bit better. Okay, profitability is not our main concern as long as we're not losing money. So the Keep a Product Finder filters that I would actually be inputting to find a starting point with a ton of new sellers is going to be buy box at 7, Amazon out of stock, your bought in past month is 50 plus, and then a minimum offer count of 50. So if we go ahead and look into my Keep a Product Finder filters here, you guys can see that I have this already configured. So what we're going to go ahead and do is click Find Products. And now what we're going to want to do is filter the newest offer count by the highest offer count listing so that we can get the most populated listing with sellers on it. So we can see right now we have some CDs and vinyls where it's like come away with me or something. So to do this, we are going to find smaller sellers under 3 reviews who carry likely auto approved brands in their stores that we can sell today. And we are going to leverage that into just buying what they have that's approved for us. So scrolling down to SellerAmp here, we can see that we have a bunch of storefronts here, over 130. Okay, so we can see like there's one here with no reviews, right? There's another one here with 1 review, another one here with 3 reviews. Okay, and then once you guys actually have a storefront pulled up on SellerAmp here, you're just going to want to see if we are actually approved to sell that particular item or brand. And then from there, we're going to go into doing a brand search and trying to find something that we can buy and essentially clean up on. So this Grand Stream product here, once it loads, we can see that I am not eligible. So you would want to actually go ahead and try and add this product to your catalog through Amazon Seller Central. You don't want to be going in and clicking manual ungate here because manual ungate is just not going to really do anything for you just with the way Amazon ungating works nowadays. So go and add this product to your catalog like you normally would. And if they let you sell it, then that means you're actually auto ungated. Okay, so let's go ahead and actually find a product that I am already ungated to sell. So we can go ahead and use this Ubiquity. It also looks like this guy has multiple of these Lakeshore products here. So maybe if we're ungated in this, we could also use a Lakeshore product as an example of something that we would be looking to do a brand search on. Okay, so we can see we can sell this Ubiquity product as an example here, right? So then what the goal really is we're going to now run essentially a brand search on these brands that we can actually sell so that we can actually start finding brands that we can find products for, even if it's not for profit. Okay, and what this is going to allow us to do is get those auto ungates rolling. So we can just use Lakeshore as an example here just because it's going to be an easy brand to go ahead and do a search for. So what you would do is once you found a brand that you can sell, we're going to go ahead, type in Lakeshore here. You guys can see that with these current filters we have on right now, it's going to be 3 products. Okay, you guys can just set when you're doing a brand search, set your new offer count from 3, and then you can set your buy box price from 7. Okay, and that's just essentially opening up the opportunity with the amount of products that this brand sells, so that we can really niche down and find those products that are at least break even so that we can start making some sales. So you guys can see here, Lakeshore offers a variety of products. So all I would be doing now is essentially going from Keep a Product Finder and seeing if these products exist on Google for close to profitable prices and essentially buying those same units if they are at least break even or better so that we can start making some sales. And if you guys need help on anything related to like actually finding profitable inventory, like knowing how to coupon stuff, knowing how to look through supply suppliers, all this kind of stuff. I've already made videos on my channel covering all of this and like how to use Keeper Product Finder, all these type of things. So essentially you would just use the same methods I talk about in those videos to go out and actually start doing a bit of sourcing, even though we're like more so sourcing for break-even products and nothing that really makes profit. And essentially once you find a product that actually makes some form of, you know, profitability or break-even prices, these are going to be the leads that you're going to build out onto a leads list. So we can see if this buy one get one code here works at 50%, this price will drop from $59.99 probably to about 25% of the way off. I think that's going to be the cost price of what it's going to be. So it looks like this thing is not quite at a break-even price. So again, you would just want to run through each of these and just essentially try to find products that are a little bit better than break-even. So we have this Lakeshore one at $99.50 with a buy one get one 50. That'll probably turn into something. We can also take a look at this Lakeshore product here at $39.99. So that one might be close as well. So if we go ahead and do, I believe this one was $99.50. So let's just go ahead and see if this actually is close to break even. Divide that by 2. So this one's not break even. So we're going to skip that. And then this one here at $39.99. Let me go ahead and run the math here. Divide that by 2 plus $39.99. Okay. And then we divide that by 2. So this one is a little bit better than break even. So these would be the type of products that I would be specifically looking for. And then obviously you'd want to do some basic analysis to make sure that your break even investment is somewhat safe. So like this one is just recently coming off of, you know, some offer adjustments. So the price is shooting up. So this also might not be like the most stable product in the world, but for the example sake of this video, this is what you would do. So once you have found some, you know, auto approved products through essentially taking brands that you can actually sell from other people's storefronts, even if these products are break even, you're going to add them to a leads list. So I recommend adding them to just like a basic buy sheet. I do have a video link on my channel, which is going to be how to start Amazon online arbitrage in 2026. Okay. In that video, I leave links to all of the Google spreadsheets that I would use if I was just starting out. And that contains a buy sheet. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and essentially add these type of products to a buy sheet. And then you're just going to work on getting your first 200 units purchased across many different ASINs. Okay. So you'll want to find maybe a sample size of like 5, 10 ASINs, something that you can just spend a little bit of money on. But essentially the goal is really to get your first 200 ASINs. And ideally you want to be spending as little money as possible on those ASINs. So these are kind of expensive products here to where they're like $30. So ideally you want to find products that are in the realm of like $10, because then you only have to spend about $2K to get your initial ungating requirements like complete so that you can actually start getting auto approvals rolling in. So essentially what I would do to get some cheaper products here is maybe set your buy box back to 16, and then let's go ahead, release the brand search here and just do the 50 offer count again. So what I would be going ahead and doing here is I would essentially be looking for products that have a really cheap buy box price, right? So we can see this one is a good example of that. This one's a really good example of that. So like if you can find this product here, right, you're going to probably only pay about $7 a unit or something if you were profitable. If you're unprofitable, you'll pay a little bit more, but we can essentially see, so this is $15. So that's a lot better than paying $30 for that Lakeshore product. So you want to try and maximize as little investment as possible on these break-even products in accordance to like velocity and how well they move. Okay. And now over the next week, your goal should be to buy 200 units of auto-approved products. Again, even if they're not profitable, just doing the method that I taught you here, and send them in one optimized shipment to Amazon. Okay. So we're sending one shipment that contains 5 boxes, all equal dimensions, weight, all that kind of stuff with the same products in each box. And we're sending that to Amazon so it can check in quickly, start selling through. And to track your inventory, you'll want to set up an inventory tracker. Again, link for those Google Sheets are going to be in that video on how to start Amazon online arbitrage, which tracks all important information to your inventory purchases. So the inventory that you're buying right now from this, you know, from this initial 200 unit spree needs to be in your inventory tracker, and you need to be making sure that it delivers right, everything goes well, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so phase 2 of what I would be doing is I would now be setting up a repricer so that when those 200 units check in, you already have your pricing set up and that you don't have to worry about messing around with prices and, you know, distracting yourself from when you could be putting that time into sourcing. So get a repricer set up. I would recommend using GoAura. They are pretty standard. The repricing process is, you know, pretty easy to understand through them because it's very simple. It'll run you about $50 a month, and they might have some specials going on for newer sellers. So definitely use GoAura.com. I'm going to be making a video later as well on how to actually do repricing. So you might want to go ahead and check that out if you're looking for just some basic advice there to essentially automatically automatically reprice your units you just sent in so you can focus more on sourcing and get that inventory sold quickly. Okay, so get a repricer. Once you've sent those first 200 units, your goal should now be to source for the next month and start building out a list of brands and products that are actually close to profitable or profitable. And you should also be saving all of the brands that you currently cannot sell. Okay, and the reason why is because those brands, as you start selling through your first initial 200 units, are going to start opening up, which is going to open your opportunity to sell more products from more brands. Okay, so to do this, create another Google Sheet in SellerAmp and name it Almost Good. Again, I've left a link to that sheet in that video beforehand. In here, you will want to be tracking products that are profitable but gated or close to being profitable that you might want to monitor as time goes on. You should be keeping a list of the brands that are currently invoice restrict. So that means that you can actually attempt to ungate them. You don't want to be looking at brands that are hard restricted. So that's going to be stuff that are really big brands, to where if you clicked manual ungate through SellerAmp and then you actually see it says we are not accepting applications for this product, okay, you'll want to take note of those and highlight them in red to let you know that you cannot sell them. And you'll want to take note of all the ones that you can actually submit an invoice for, which would be in yellow, to let you know that, hey, this might open up over time. And the way that I would use this to my advantage when sourcing is I'm going to actually go ahead and disregard all of the red gated brands by using the is none of and then typing in the brand. So for example, Nike would be a brand that you're going to be hard restricted, which means you'll never be able to sell Nike. So if you're never going to be able to sell Nike, when you click is none of Nike products are going to show in your storefront stalking searches in Keep a Product Finder. Okay, so that's going to be a way to help you exclude stuff you can't sell, but definitely be building out your brands list, building out your list and catalog of products that are almost good, profitable but gated, or just overall that is stuff you want to be monitoring. Okay, and if you do come across profitable products in the meantime, you should definitely be buying them because, you know, obviously profitable products are profitable products and you want to be doing that. Okay, so now you're going to actually be getting in the flow of sourcing products. Okay, now you're going to be storefront stalking sellers that have 10 or less reviews, since these people will have gated brands for now, but over time they will open up. So once you've got that first 200 units set in, you can stop looking at sellers under 3 reviews. You can go up to 10 reviews because these guys are going to have a wider catalog of brands you can sell down the line. You can find a place to start buying. You can find a place to start from by using the same KPF list of high competition leads we used to get our first 200 products, right? So to find more storefronts that you need to stock, you can essentially just look at the same Keep a Product Finder filters we ran here. And what that's going to do is just give you a bunch of starting points with a lot of high competition listings that you can then pull sellers that are under 10 reviews from. And that'll get you kind of with your foot in the door and getting you starting sourcing. Essentially, I would be taking their storefronts, plugging them into Keep a Product Finder using these exact filters. Okay. And then over the next month, you should be building out a leads list of at least 10 plus products that could potentially work once you are auto approved for those brands in the future. So you're spending now your second month essentially, you know, just setting up all of this stuff and building your leads list out so that when all of your products actually sell through, right, everything can start to come together and you're not just sitting around with no products. You already have stuff locked and loaded and you just needed the ungate to actually get through. So by this point, you should know how to source. Okay. Again, I've made multiple videos on my channel about how to do reverse sourcing through Keep a Product Finder, through SellerAmp, all of these type of reverse sourcing mechanisms. I recommend reverse sourcing through Keep a Product Finder. Again, using these exact same filters here. Okay. If you're running into storefronts where there is a lot of products on here, I would recommend using the bought in past month and setting that to 50. Okay. But if you're sourcing through storefronts where there's only a few products, you can just leave that off and source on lower velocity listings because those tend to have lower competition as well. So get good at sourcing during this waiting period. As your products are selling through, you're naturally going to get more exposure to better brands. Okay. And then you're going to want to have a winning criteria and spend goal to essentially get you to your first 20K month, because at this point, now all you're doing is literally sourcing. Okay. You're sourcing every day. You're looking for new leads. You're using Keep a Product Finder. That is how we're sourcing. So you'll want to be purchasing products that have at least a 13% minimum margin or a 27% ROI at the time of purchase. Okay. So you really want to be buying products that you can expect to sell for these numbers here by the time they are prime eligible and ready to check in. We want to ensure that analysis with these products is also on point and that you aren't going to be investing time into products that become unprofitable by the time they check in. So to hit your first 20K in revenue, that will require you to have at least $10,000 to $13,000 spent on inventory in the past 30 days, which if we break that down to a daily and weekly amount, that's roughly going to be $400 a day or $3,000 a week spent on profitable inventory. So by this point now, you're actually going after some spend goals and holding yourself accountable. Doesn't mean you have to spend money every day, but you should be sourcing every day to build out your product ecosystem. And so that over time, you can eventually hit this spend threshold, which again is going to come out to about $400 a day or $3,000 a week spent on profitable inventory. And you should be sending a shipment like once a week, right? So try and send an optimized shipment if you can once a week. If you can't send an optimized shipment, just get a shipment out once a week so that you're having a consistent flow of products, or maybe just wait another few days until you have more product ready to send more optimized inventory, because we really want to avoid sending minimal shipments because they take forever. So again, sending shipments once a week, sourcing every single day, having a spend goal in mind with a winning product criteria is going to be super important. And really, guys, the first part of this video was just getting you through the ungating hurdle, because it's the thing that everyone struggles with when they're starting out nowadays. So to avoid any ungating issues, we're just going to attack the problem directly. From there, while we're waiting for those to sell through, we are going to work on our skill, actually building the skill of sourcing and building our ecosystem, so that by the time we have auto ungated products, we can actually start targeting winning products that are already ungated, that we can now just go ahead and start selling and start aiming for spend goals that are going to get us to that first $20,000 in revenue. Okay, and that's essentially everything I want to cover in this video. That is exactly how I would go about building a 0 to 20K a month business on Amazon. Okay, all of the other nuanced stuff like how to source, how to send shipments, all that kind of stuff, you guys can find videos for that on my channel. Okay, I've made tons of videos on live sourcing, everything you need to know about finding profitable inventory and all that kind of stuff. So if you need more nuanced help, you can go and look through my channel. But this is the exact roadmap that I would follow if I was going from 0 to 20 in 2026. One more thing before we end the video, if you guys haven't checked out my free newsletter, link is in the description below. I run a post once a week on Wednesdays giving you free game on how to help start or scale your online arbitrage business. And with all that out of the way, I will see you guys in the next episode. So peace out.